Hey, Composing Gloves here. This is another video in the Music Theory Essentials video series, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about scale construction on the major scale and about the key signature. So, when we're making a major scale, which you should be able to do now, there's one other way that's very popular to do it. So if we have a treble clef here, and we want to make, let's say, the B flat major scale, you find your B on the treble clef. So there's our B. And you know that this scale has to take up every note from B to the next B. So you can just write in whole notes from B to B. So every single one of these notes must be used. That's why we have this sharp and flat system, is that every line is used for a major scale and minor scales. So whenever you're manipulating a note to B to fit our sequence here, we've got to use every line. I don't know why, that's just the way it is. So that's why we have these things called double sharps, double flats. So we know in our, let's make it B flat major. So we have B flat, and this B flat has to be B flat. And so all of a sudden these accidentals are super duper important because we're starting on a B flat. And as we go along, we go whole step, which is B flat, 1, 2. That's a whole step, so it's a C, that's correct. Then we need another whole step, that is correct, a D. Now we need a half step, we need an E flat, because we already used our D. The reason the E is flat is because we use D natural. So we're going up to E flat, which is on the E line. We must use the E. As a result, we know that the E must be flat. I hope that made sense. And then you keep going, and actually the rest of them pan out just fine. You reach E flat. If we were to do another example, let's say D major. So we have D, and then we fill in every note because we have to use every natural note from D to D. So we've got this going. So we have a D, and we need a whole step, and we need another whole step. So we have this F sharp. Why is it an F sharp? Well, our whole step to E, this is our E, it's taking up our E line, and then we go up to our next one must be F, because that is the next space. And because we moved up on the F, it is an F sharp. Okay, so that's why certain notes are flat versus certain notes are sharp. So we know that it must be an F because when we draw out our circles, it's on the F. We have to manipulate this F to somehow become the note that we need it to be. And then from our F sharp, so there's a whole step, half step, which is our G. And you keep going, and you get to this guy up here. We reach our C line, and our C has to be sharp as well. So go make scales like that now. Go make all 12, right, just draw all the notes and then manipulate them to be the correct sharp or flat. Now you know why certain notes are sharp and why other notes are flat. Now let's talk about this idea called the key signature. So if you were to go through music and you were notating and stuff, you would have to write out a flat next to each one to stay in key, or a sharp next to each one to stay in key. Well, they have done something very nice for us. They have what's called key signature. So we write out our clef. Now we want to declare, whoa, that's a funky looking clef. Now we want to declare our key signature. Now there's something you need to memorize in order to do this. Eventually you'll just memorize the key signatures themselves. But to start out, I learned it as BEAD, B-E-A-D, greatest common factor, G-C-F. So BEAD, greatest common factor. This is the order of sharps. So when you're writing down flats, this is the order of flats. So this direction is flats, this direction is sharps. And when you're writing down flats, you're going to write them down in this order. So anytime you're making a scale, you'll come across B flat first. B will always be the first the first note you will flat. And then E, now when I say first, I mean as a scale as a whole. Maybe not in your particular piece of music, But there's this thing called the circle of fourths and fifths and all this other stuff. We're not going to talk about that yet. So we have this B flat, and then you get an E flat, which is why our B flat scale has a B flat and an E flat, and none of the other notes are flat, because the order of flats stops right there. You don't need to do that to make the scale major anymore. It's this great pattern thing. Now, if we're going with sharps, it's the exact same thing, but the opposite direction. So it's F, C, G, D, E, A, B. I memorize flats and then work backwards from sharps. If for some reason I can't remember the scale key signature. So F has one sharp. It would be F sharp. Would be the first note you would sharp in the G major scale. So I'm throwing out a whole bunch of terms right now, but you just need to know that this will become important, and we're about to discover why. So on our B flat major scale, let's say we want to write out a B major scale. Let's do it over here. But we don't want to have to bother with all this extra flat stuff. We want to be able to just go like this. Just do a B and then go like so up to the next B and just call that good. We want to be able to just say that's it. Well, there's a way to declare that all the B's are flat and all the E's are flat. And the way you do that is you just, at the very beginning, you just put a flat on the B, and then you put a flat on the E. And that's it. Now you will notice that we follow the order of flats when we put down these things. And if now on the sharp, if we were to make a D key signature, our sharp key signature would look like this. You would have an F sharp first, and then a C sharp. When you're writing out your key signature, you always write them next to, like, you go over a little bit and you write the next one, and it creates this nice sort of little pattern thing that musicians can easily recognize, and that lets them know what key you're in. So you'll notice that we have the B and the E, so we put the B down first and the E down next, versus the sharps, we put the F down first and the C, and if we were to go up another sharp, we just went into the A scale. This is actually A major, and this would be the G, so on and so forth. I think the sharp may need to go down here on the G line itself. I think it does go up there. You know what? I can't remember right now. But anyways, for key signatures, that's the way you declare them. Go look that up real fast if you really want to know. And that's key signatures. There's all sorts of weird variations on it, but this is as far as we're going to go for now, because I'm not sure if you're going to be into written music or if you're going to be more of a programming music type of person, but it's important to know that you can do that, and how this and the scale building thing is also super duper important. So if you like these videos, comment, subscribe, let me know, and have a blessed day.
I reflect on the ride, I reflect on my mind. I don't regret anything that caused my soul to sing. I don't regret growing wings and taking people sing. I reflect on my life, I reflect on the strife, I reflect